One aspect of America's democracy that all Americans should take pride in is the peaceful transition of power which occurs when new presidents are elected to office. Everyone is aware of the often heated rivalry between the two major parties in the country, the Republicans and Democrats. Both parties have strong beliefs that are almost always contradictory to each other. So, what happens when a Democrat wins an office that was previously held by a Republican, and the loser knows their opponent will likely pursue policies they feel are unwise? The answer? Not as much as you may think. The vacating official will oftentimes greet their successor, oversee the transition, and go on their way. While this may not be particularly exciting, it truly is a marvel of modern politics. Imagine if every time we elected a new president, there was a civil war. That really would not bode well for the longevity of the country. We can thank George Washington for our tradition of peaceful transition. After serving 2 terms as president, it was time for a new politician to take his place. After the nation cast its votes, the inheritor of the presidency was John Adams. On the day of the inauguration, after Adams had been sworn into office, the 2 men were going inside to attend the inaugural ball. Adams stepped aside to let Washington enter first. However, Washington, who was fully committed to the peaceful transition of power, reminded Adams that he was now just a private citizen, and that the new president should surely lead the way. Washington's commitment to this principle can still be seen today during presidential transitions. The executive branch issues and enforces regulations. When a new administration, which includes the new cabinet appointees who help the president run the executive branch, begins their tenure in the White House, they will freeze any new regulations from being approved to make sure that they correspond with their positions. This practice was done by the Bush, Obama, and now Trump administrations. There are several regulations that relate to dentistry that are affected by the freeze. One regulation affected is sponsored by the Environmental Protection Agency and involves the requirement that all dental offices install an amalgam separator by 2019. An amalgam separator filters out particles of amalgam from wastewater. This helps ensure the quality of the water even before it is sent to a treatment plant, and is in line with the ADA's best practice guidelines. This regulation will need to be resubmitted for approval by the administration after the freeze is over. This next dental regulation has not been frozen, but has rather been postponed. It comes from the Department of Health and Human Services, and it updates confidentiality requirements in patient records. It makes sure that patients with substance abuse treatment on record are able to keep that information private. The hope is more people will seek treatment for their substance abuse, knowing they do not have to worry about possible repercussions that come from that information going public. A regulation that was not impeded by the freeze was from the FDA that banned powdered gloves from surgical and patient examination settings. These gloves present risks of inflammation, granulomas, and allergic responses for both the patient and provider. This regulation was not frozen because it was enacted 2 days before the freeze began. While the transition of power has significant implications on American dentists, we can rejoice in the knowledge that there will be a peaceful transition of power and the democracy will continue to be strong.